Rome became a swan when he truly accepted his fairy community. Upper crust ways didn't agree with me. Rome had a voice any radio journalist admires, full of changes in pitch and pacing. My parents wanted consistency. I offered exploration, gender-bending playtimes, and too many hands in the cookie jar. My favorite pastime was counting off the days until I would celebrate my birthday. That became my official day to escape. My anticipation made every day feel like a week, and my 21st birthday was a lifetime away. It sounds like you needed to get out on your own. Sandra had taken an art of helping class. One of the most helpful things to do when you interview someone is to rephrase what the person said. It's easy. You just same thing back to them with the words, it sounds like, in front of the phrases. This allows the helpee to see that you can empathize with their situation. Sandra's psychological tips and tricks for journalists teacher Ms. Baxter wrote on the chalkboard in the round lecture hall. Remember, it's not manipulation, it's called digging. Sandra wrote the word digging on her notepad and then rewound the tape recorder to replay the part she missed while she was having a memory flashback to journalism school. I wanted me to be me. Those were dark times, and to be honest, yes, I did consider how I could end it all. I weighed two options, kill myself or kill them. Rome let out a sigh. Then there was a long pause. But God has shone upon me. I forgave myself for feeling so desperate and realized the thoughts of escape were just thoughts. No need to act on them. Sandra liked that phrase, no need to act on them. As she got dressed, she put on her Birkenstock sandals, then made a note on her notepad. Thoughts were just thoughts. She circled the note to herself. Wisdom learned through experience. A wise man. Is Rome too wise for society? Perseverance became the key to my survival. 2 days before the escape, I grabbed what clothes were laying on the floor next to my bed, threw them in my backpack, then took an early morning drive up the coast. The drive lasted longer than planned. As I drove further away, I realized that I had made the escape. 2 days later, my wallet was stolen. Amex's cold card and all. The 1-800 call to Amex's customer service for a replacement broke the news. Mommy and Daddy had frozen my bank funds. I couldn't get a hold of a legitimate replacement card. The tape recorder shut off. Sandra knew when Rome began to cough during the interview that it was time to take a break. Telling your story takes a lot of energy. Yet Rome seemed to enjoy being able to review his life. So the interview continued over a late-night cup of rose tea, as they sat in the kitchen at the large worn wooden community table. Okay, Sandra, let me see. Well, this starts the juicy part of my life story. You can hear Rome takes a big sip of tea and place his teacup on the wooden community house table. During my homelessness, I ran across a sign posted on a pole that advertised immediate help through the Gay and Lesbian Crisis Center. There I met an intern doing research on hypnotherapy, NLP, and something called the Emotional Freedom Technique. Do you want to hear more about that? Sandra jotted down some notes. Yes, please. In one session, I was guided by the hypnotherapist to imagine a fertile pile of compost and focus my attention on planting seeds. One seed, to know my true mother when she appears. Another seed, that it will get easier to let my earlier caretakers go. A new seed, for a potential reunion. Several seeds were scattered with wishes that I would discover paths and know how to become my true self. Then in the active visualization, I watered the seeds, gave thanks for the sun, and trusted in nature to take care of the rest. Trust in nature to take care of the rest. Sandra liked that phrase and underlined the note in her notebook. I remember one seed that grew before my eyes. It swelled the moment I put it into the ground. Like a fast motion clip of a flower going from bud to bloom, the seed grew roots, then branched out to be strong and tall. The green stalk and leaves grew in fast-forward animation. Each bud held an aspect of my life. Every flower had an imprint like a frame that held small pictures. Altogether, the flowers formed a bouquet of a full life. Rome poured some more tea. He told Sandra that after the hypnotherapy session, he felt like he had put on a new pair of eyeglasses. A new view took some getting used to. Because I had lost the key to my car, he was officially homeless. I spent the night at an all-night coffee shop. I drank 10 cups of coffee and counted my change. Then there came a miracle. I found the misplaced car key in the pocket of my jeans. That's when my car became my not only transportation, but home. I left being homeless and became houseless. By now my car was a home. Sandra listened with her hand on her chin, motionless as Rome finished the chapter in his life story. During the interview, Rome felt something shift as he told about his past. He realized that he truly was a survivor who had learned to thrive. Telling his story helped him understand how he ended up at the fairy sanctuary. When he first set foot on the land, he needed to regain his balance, to get some support, and live without a lot of money. Now he realized that he had truly come home. Sandra saved some of the recorded story for later, and after a hot day on the fairyland and playing in the drag bus, she played back the last bit of the interview as she got ready for bed. Acceptance, trust, let go. To finish the day, Sandra started a new page in her notebook and titled it Part 2. The next day, Rome continued to share his experiences at the fairy sanctuary as he told of a growing strength of well-being. and how he found acceptance among the fairies. His voice softened as he mentioned that he prayed to Saint and Thrax for a miracle, that he would meet his true biological mother. Sandra sat back in the bed, a sturdy pine-framed double bed that was so well crafted that it didn't creak. Sometimes it's good to just let things go, she told herself. Before the resident dream fairy, Pixetta, arrived, the visiting journalist took off her reading glasses. The slowly shut down her system as she recalled how to back up important things by telling herself a recap of the story. What a lovely story, but it's too long to include without cutting some parts out for the radio broadcast. Shall I ask Rome which parts of his life story he'd like to delete? No, that sounds cruel. Why was I led to this sanctuary? Is it spirit or ego? Did I make a mistake getting to know Rome as a friend? Am I not being objective? Would it be better to treat this radio project as an impersonal investigation into the fairies? Write a sidebar on the Godamentals. And follow the saying off be the law of, just the facts ma'am, please, just the facts. Sandra sat up in bed, and to allow things to settle down, took a sip of her sleepy time tea, then let go of a few more important things as she wrote in her journal. Radical Fairy Sanctuary, Brain Dump Night number 2, did this opportunity to find out more about the fairies come from spirit? Or from chance? I can't deny that it stirs my soul, lights my spirit, and proved to be a calling to me. An uncanny synchronistic event. It all began as a simple trip to document an intentional community. Now it has become a visit that will change my life. My outlook has shifted and affirms that life is more than I imagined. That such a revelation came to me in the middle of nowhere, without figuring it out. Just a knowing and a feeling that arises out of the desert. Alleluia. The garden stands as a personal symbol. I sensed that planting the seeds today in the fertile soil in the garden mirrored the planting of seeds in the fertile soil of my soul. Rebirth and renewal. The unfolding of a new cycle of life. Growth quickens as the bright desert sun grows stronger. As the soil gets warmer, our garden of life has been planted with the new seeds and fertilized with rich compost. My nurturing goddess energy feels strong here. The cycle seems so alive that I cannot deny my biological clock. The rebirth of life signals another dawn and a new season returning. The raven babies are learning to fly. My longing to be a mother is so strong. And now at 30 years old the hope seems more precious. Sandra fell asleep, with her journal still open on her lap. The next morning the cock crowed to herald the rising sun. Orange rays made it easy to see the desert dust that shone through the window in her guest room. Sandra listened to more of Rome's story as she put on her flowered capris. While surfing the internet at the library, I came across a link to a weblog page. Sars created a fairy-friendly site, and I read about his dream where he and 2 other sexy fairies investigate relics in a cave. I was hooked. Like they say, at times you don't find the fairies have their way of finding you. You don't find fairies, fairies find you. So for me this is truly a sanctuary, and I feel that spirit drew me to my real home. I have a happy ending to my Dark Knight stories. Now I feel part of the group. Now I feel at home. And right now I am truly happy. Ending. It all worked out for the best. Sandra's last interview question was, Rome, why didn't you travel to San Francisco with the other fairies? I didn't know Toulouse.
Rome explained.
I chose to stay behind. I like the idea of holding down the fort and have some extra space to fly free, feed the chickens, water the plants, and greet the visitors. There was a pause in the recording. One of my favorite responsibilities is that I get to play tour guide and show lovely reporters the sanctuary. I also get to tell my life story for her important radio interviews. Oh, what a beautiful morning. Sandra tucked her micro-point pen into her leather notepad cover and zipped up her DAT recorder case. She began to whistle without knowing why and grabbed a few extra bling-blings from her jewelry bag. It felt right that she would jazz up her outfit for another day on the magical fairy sanctuary. She didn't want to look underdressed for the trip to the legendary drag bus. Even the Raven family saluted the new day as they flew in random formation between the guest house and the community house. Sandra thought of Shirley Jones, not when she played the Partridge Family mom, but as the young lass in Oklahoma. Sandra was alive in an equally